There's nothing better than coming home after a long day and having a nice bathtub to use or a beautiful shower that's nice and spacious with your waterfall head. It really adds an extra layer of character to a house. It doesn't cost that much more for these upgrades, but it can make a big difference on the selling price and how your homes are featured, both in listing and in local magazines and different types of builder catalogs. Join me today because you won't want to miss these key details on tile installation, selections, and finishing to make sure your spec house or your personal house turns out great and lasts a long time without some of the crucial issues like waterproofing that you can run into. Talking a little bit about tile, guys. It's gonna be super echoey in here because we have all these flat walls, flat drywall, flat tile. So I'm gonna do my best to make it legible. The biggest thing we want to talk about for tile is foundation. The foundation for our tile is gonna be a metal lath screwed directly to a solid subfloor. And then after that solid lath is put down, our guys put down what is called a tile base, and that's made out of concrete. Very similar to a concrete you pour in your driveway, but this is going to have less big aggregate so we can get a nice final grade. Now this is important for a bunch of reasons. First of all, tile is not a flexible material. Tile does not like to move once it's put in place. So this layer, about 3/4 thick, of concrete on top of our scratch coat is going to provide one solid surface, and more than that, it can be leveled. So for example, in our shower pan, we have this base coat tilted just slightly towards the drain, so you never have any standing water. Same thing on our tile on our floor for the master. This is tilted just slightly towards the center, not enough to notice, but enough so any water that might spill isn't going to go towards the walls where it could get soaked up into the drywall. Next step that comes for tile is dealing with our walls. Behind these walls, we have a rubber membrane and we have a concrete board. Commonly called cement board, this is screwed on just like drywall, and this is made of cement aggregate, making it concrete, which is going to be not impervious to water, but completely resistant to any kind of decay. So by this chance that water seeps through our grout behind our tile, everything's going to get a little damp back there, but it will dry out. Behind me here you can see that we do have our shower curb complete, and now we have our final tile down on the floor. It's important to put everything down together in steps. Floor tile first, wall tile after. That way any water from the tile that might get on the wall is going to come straight down onto the floor and into our drain. Another thing you're going to notice about flooring for a shower or any kind of area that's going to be wet is it's going to be smaller pieces. So the smaller pieces in a floor tile allows the tile to flex in between the tiles, allowing us to make the gradient towards our drain. Now tile selection is one point that can become very sticky. Different tiles have all sorts of different lead times, costs, and availability. We like to go with a nice tile. Real popular these days is the 24x12, something that's easy to lay, has a little bit of a bevel so that you don't need to have such precision in your laying, and allows for an amazing look at the end. We think this look is modern enough so it's going to appeal to a wide variety of people that are looking for the house, but not too modern and too specific that it's going to easily get outdated or turn off some buyers. It's been a couple weeks, and what we're waiting on here for tile is really to do final fixtures and cabinets. You can see behind me here, this wall came out amazing. This behind us is going to work perfectly with the awesome angles that we have in the hexagon tiles down below. And we're even tying this into our shower. Over here we have hexagon tiles on the floor, but they're much smaller. I think we did an awesome job. I'm not actually the one that picked out this design, but my friend picked out this design. He did an awesome job with selections. Just incredible how it's all going to come together. Can't wait to see the final result. Another thing to think about with tile is centering. And this can lead to a little more waste than you might expect. As you see here, we have about 1 inch on each side of the pattern. And that's because we want this diamond pattern to be right in the center Where it's gonna be very noticeable is where a light fixture is. You need that perfectly centered. And that's something that a good tile guy is gonna know really well. And a guy that's just running his first tile job, he's gonna have trouble with these kind of things. And you have to micromanage. So when you look for tile guys, at least look for people that have done this for a couple of years and they know their stuff. I'm really happy with how this tile is coming out in the master bathroom. What you can see before us here is we have a 12 by 24 tile. Now this looks like a real marble, and as I get close, you can't even tell the difference. But this is actually a manufactured ceramic product with a texture on top. And the good thing about this is it's not gonna stain, it's gonna resist mildew and mold. It's easy to install because it's perfectly square pieces and very flat. We went with a bevel-less tile here. Now the bevel in the tile is actually what you see whether you have a flat joint or a rounded joint. The bevel-less tile without that round is gonna make it a little trickier to install, but it gives us this awesome monolithic flat look. I'd always recommend that if you can afford it and your tile installer has done that type of tile before. We've got a couple built-ins here. This is a really nice spot, fully waterproofed in the back, and that built-in is gonna allow, putting products there and not have to have third-party products that you mount on the wall afterwards, because you never wanna put something in that could compromise the waterproof integrity of your shower. What we're gonna have here to finish this off is gonna be a full glass, self-supported with a glass door. Now we call this a monolithic glass because it doesn't need all the frames and all that mumbo jumbo that looks cheap. If you got a good glass guy, glass really isn't that expensive for a super high-end look. In comparison, this bathroom has a lot more contrast with the colors. This is a smaller bedroom, most likely a kid's room, and you can feel free to go a little more out there with accents such as tile color. We got two colors here, the dark gray with the beautiful silver trim, and then the black and white tile inside is really nice because it provides some contrast, but it doesn't take the decade effect into it. This should be a more timeless look compared to colors of, say, the 70s and 80s, bright colors, orange and reds. This is a good intro to tile, but for more information on details like grout color and final finish, a designer is going to be your best resource. I just want to come on here and say a big thank you for joining us on this series. Now, as you may know, my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by 4th of July this year. So do me a favor, like this video, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and comment if you can, because this provides a lot of traction and lets me know what you guys want to see in the future. Thanks for joining.